Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 22 of Changeling Viva Lost Vegas. Before we get started, just going over a couple announcements as per usual. I've mentioned it a couple times now, but Onyx Path is currently undergoing a crowdfunding campaign for Trinity Continuum IGUS on BackerKit. If you are interested, you can find the link here. There's currently a Christmas in July sale going on at Drive-Thru RPG and Drive-Thru Fiction, and you can find the links likewise in chat. So let's go ahead and jump right in. It's been about 5 days in game. Who wants to go over what they were doing first?
Sure, I'll go.
Alrighty.
Alright, so the first thing all of us did, honestly, was have a big old meeting with the rulers, which consumed our first day. Going over everything that we found out last time, which, quick summary, his fetch, is apparently, in addition to being an asshole billionaire, working with the child of the Lord of Tales to help him get a title. He's trying to extract one from one of the huntsmen and use that to help him ascend to true Fae status. We need to stop that by any means necessary, and we now have the entirety of the freehold behind us. Moving on. I got really exasperated with not being able to help in combat last time when all of my friends were out putting themselves at risk, and I realized all I could do was stand at the sidelines and cheer. Elliot couldn't bear this any longer and has decided to go pick up a weapon. He's now got a bow and arrow, which, well, you're going to get to see what it does today. But it's very exciting. On day 3, I activated a little contract called Relentless Pursuit on Sister Mary Manson, who got kidnapped a little over last week. And I hired some Goblin Moonshiners to run the still that I have, so they'll be helping me make liqueur. As for the rest of the days, I started searching for the Huntsman's Heart, which is buried somewhere in Dreamland. We made some significant successes. We've got about 11 out of 100 taken care of.
All right, so that does it for you. So who wants to go next? Alrighty. No need to go over the first day. Like Jeff said, you all did the same thing that day.
Okay, so my second day, I actually just spent time with my cat. I found a little stray. It lives with me now. It's a touchstone. And as Kenny put it, sometimes it's just nice to spend time with a cat that cannot talk back. Third day, I went to Will about the head butler problem for the freehold because the cats are getting disorganized. And Will isn't surprised to hear that that's what happened to Moggins and advises that it'll be brought up in court as soon as feasible. And many folks have been discussing the Grimalkin staff's recent decline. So they've been doing a good job with what they could do, but they're cats, not a head butler. On my fourth day, I sat down with Will and learned some English, as he put it, and I gained 1 free dot of academics. This was in exchange for my wonderful retelling of what happened last week to him at the end of last session. And then the last downtime, I talked to Kelly Crinoline, our local jet catch, about my fetch. And she asked what I know, and listening to the ordeal, she says she thinks she knows the fetch in question. It's one of the handful that she generally leaves alone because they're docile and helpful for tracking down others of their kind. So, hopefully, my fetch is cool as shit.
Alrighty.
So for me, day 2, I did my usual auction at the at the Goblin Market. While I was there, I picked up 10 years of youth, um, and then because the next day I met up with Delilah and explained, what Rupert has been up to, and as a gift, I gave her the 10 years of youth. So instead of having to, turn some changelings into back into the true Fae for a year, I just bought her 10 years. So that's gonna be funny to see the rage that Rupert gets from that. And then day 4, I spent the day tracking down the fetch for Kinsey, and then on day 5, I spent helping Elliot track down the Huntsman's Heart, making progress on both.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump right in now that we've went over what everyone has been doing during their downtime. Today is Sunday, September 26th, 2021. Where are you this evening, and what are you doing?
Currently, we are. I am trying to track down my fetch.
I believe that is where we all are.
Yeah.
All right, so you're starting out together?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So Kelly was able to give you a lead on their location. Do you want her to come along, or will you be doing this on your own?
I'd love to have Kelly come along.
I feel like an introduction will probably get us through the first minutes without maybe getting shot.
All right, then. So, talking to Kelly, she mentions that a lot of the fetches that she speaks with are part of a group of wandering homeless people. They usually camp in various areas around Las Vegas, but the camps are temporary. If the cops don't come to bust them up, then they end up moving after a couple of months to keep everyone safe. Since Kelly hadn't been in contact with them recently, she had lost their current location. So it took a few days to get things going. But over that time, Kelly has managed to get some information about where to go. It looks like the group has taken up residence in a network of tunnels in the north of Las Vegas, a few miles off the strip. There's a space where they're underneath a bridge that leads into some disused and eventually shuttered construction tunnels. that wind through this small area like a catacomb. As Kelly leads you in, there's a good couple dozen people here or there, having constructed ramshackle homes out of whatever pieces of wood, plastic, cardboard, or cloth they could scavenge. They watch you with vacant, sullen eyes. Here and there, you can see one who looks extra close, extra carefully. Kelly nods and says, one of the fun things about hunting fetches is that they can see us coming, but not the other way around. Not unless you reach out with your kenning to look for their the magical glamour that keeps them alive. So they see through our masks, but we don't get to see through theirs. Not while they're alive.
Bet it would be weird to watch a bunch of twigs and sticks floating around.
Kelly shrugs. A fetch is made out of whatever a true fae might have to hang. Sticks, mud, and whatnot are pretty popular candidates, but I've known fetches to be made out of a lot of different things. A couple of old pieces of clothes, random pieces of electronics from around their room, hedge thorns. It happens.
All right. Well, I try and project a general, we're not here to hurt anybody, nor are we dangerous, as we move along it.
I've stored my my rifle in the hammer space.
After spending some time wandering about the tunnels, Kelly appears to have found the person she was looking for. A sullen-looking Latino man who looks vaguely familiar, but you don't think you'd be able to place him without a photo spread or maybe a police lineup. He grimaces when he sees the group of you approaching. Kelly, what are you doing here? She smiled and says, do you know where Z is is holding court at the moment? The man rolls his eyes and says, what the fuck are you talking about? Kelly looks at him briefly, her hand going to her hip where she keeps a pistol. And he pulls back, hand up, says, whoa, no need for that. We don't hold court, he says, with his fingers doing air quotes. We're not like you. But yeah, Z's attending to some stuff near the center of camp. It's a little further in. He gives Kelly some directions. And following along, you come to a hollowed out concrete cavern that must be going underneath an area of of a highway coming off the strip. So you can hear just barely ahead, above, the rumble of traffic. Here, there's a small, full-on tent city. The ramshackle houses are still along the walls, but various tents, some of them store-bought, some of them constructed from whatever cloth could be found, has been put up to house around a good 60 or 70 people. The tent city is built in a ring. In the center of it, you can see a plaza that has various cooking apparatuses and storage containers, like the milk crates and other salvaged bits of chests or whatever they could find to keep the important things in. There's a handful of people sitting around that appear to be standing guard, although most of them don't have anything bigger than a switchblade knife. The ones standing guard take note of Kelly as she moves in. Kelly leads you into the middle of the encampment, where a small red-headed woman is attending to a teenager, wrapping a leg in a makeshift cast. They're talking to each other in Spanish until the redheaded woman notices the group advance. The teenager looks to the redhead woman, who nods. She grabs a bald mop stick to use as a makeshift crutch and heads out as fast as she possibly can.
Excuse me, miss. Would you like some help with that?
Don't touch her, says the redheaded one.
Fair enough.
I reach into the hammer space, pull out the first aid kit, and slide it over to her without taking a further step forward.
Opening a hedge gate to your hollow is immediately met with a hostile reaction. Everyone armed nearby pulls their knives, but as soon as they see what you've done, they briefly freeze in place, waiting for the red-headed woman to say so. She takes a glance over, looks at the first aid kit, lightly kicks it, and then picks it up. Not trapped? Okay.
Perfectly mundane, I assure you.
Crinoline, what are these people doing here? You have some information that might be of use to us, says Kelly. She once again reaches down to her waist, not putting her hand on the gun, but just brushing her denim jacket aside. I think it would be in your interest to tell us what we want to know. She nods and steps back, letting the three of you take the floor.
My apologies. I didn't mean to get everybody all rustled up. I just have a knack for healing, and I'd hope to help if I could. But I think that was unwelcome. Lovely to meet you, ma'am. I'm Elliot. This is Kit Cotton, and well, I think you may recognize our other comrade. Isn't that right, Miss Morgan?
Yep, I'm you. Well, you're me. Well, we're us. I think.
The red-haired woman scowls. You can call me Z. I don't go by our name anymore.
I have a question for you. our password a long time ago? In case we ever had a message from ourselves from the future or the past or something like that. What's the password?
Z's face briefly passes through amusement, anger, and then back into neutrality. She growls, pineapple.
Yup! Holy shit! This is so cool! It's so cool to meet me! It's so cool to meet you! Like, you're definitely you, and I'm me, and we're completely and totally different, but we're also kind of the same.
So, are you here to rip my heart out and eat it? I hear that's the sort of thing that you guys like to do when you find us.
No, I'm not about eating anyone's heart. I just kind of want to be chill. And we heard that you might know what's going on with the crazy fucking bitches that are eating each other.
So the other name you might have heard in our little introduction, you might have been familiar, Cotton. Well, Kit here, you might know a Mr. Rupert Cotton. That's not his real name.
Oh, yeah. She sits down at a folding chair and motions for the rest of you to sit. The cannibal.
Yep. We have decided to get rid of him and do what we can about those who are cooperating with him and try and rescue the poor idiots who don't know what he's doing keeping them in his fridge. Like a certain Elliot McCoy.
Z gives a glance over the group. Kelly briefly mutters, "Don't actually eat your hearts. It's more of a metaphor." Then Z looks back at the group and says, "So, why are the three of you so invested in your fetches?"
Well, his is a multi-billionaire asshole, and we'd like him to go away in general. There's lots of very good reasons why we should be rid of him, just for who he is before we get to all the personal stuff. And I'm pretty sure that if I understand what happened to you, you've got a grudge yourself.
Let's not beat around the bush here. My fetch is both cannibalizing other fetches and trading in changelings for more life. He's an existential threat to both my interests and yours. So all I'm here to do is see if we can be allies of convenience, I think the phrase is. My enemy's enemy is my friend and all that.
Real convenient, says Z. She looks over to Kelly and says, "Do you know what that woman does?"
Yep.
And yet you're still here. And your friends are still here. You think that if she was interested in ending your whole situation here, that you would still have it? I've seen her at work. I know what she can do.
"I'm aware," says Z. "I'm fully aware that if we weren't willing to narc on to cannibals' friends, we'd already be in the ground and we wouldn't be having this conversation."
Well, I'm sure the cannibal has been causing problems for you as well. We'd like to get rid of him. And I'd like to help you however I can in order to secure your cooperation.
Z sighs and says, "When I came here, there were about twice as many fetches as there are now in this camp. Most of the people here are mortals. About 30 of us are fetches. We lost about 20 to the cannibal and about 10 to her before we made our little arrangement.
Glim.
Well, I'm glad you guys made an arrangement.
I can't.
Z looks Kinsey straight in the eye and says, "What was it like in Arcadia?"
I got turned into a burning flame. I got to boil for eternity as a light.
Hydrate, folks.
Hydrate.
Thank you, Boyd.
Actually, you know what? Would you like to see?
No, I just want to make sure that it hurt.
Oh, it did.
You ever been drunk before?
Z smiles faintly. Kinsey? Over the past year since you were taken and I was created, I was arrested shortly after you were taken. Because our habit of urban exploration, as you may know, is incredibly illegal. 3 months in jail, and I didn't have a job when I got back out. I found a couple of my things still left on the curb. Our things, maybe your things. The rest all gone long since. If it wasn't for places like this, I would have been dead even before the cannibal got his hands on me. And I escaped. And I met her, she says, pointing at Kelly, when she tried to kill me for the crime of existing. Because it's inconvenient to you, changelings in general, when we exist. I don't know if you are back yet. And frankly, I don't care. But as far as I'm concerned, you can go fuck yourself.
Shit, dude, that's rough. I get that.
Because you were irresponsible, I have spent the entire year I've been alive being imprisoned, chased, nearly killed, nearly eaten. And now you're here to beg me for help because you want to take on the cannibal. And I don't even know why. Is it to feel better about yourself, or are you here to lord it over me?
No, I'm doing it so that no one has to eat you and we can live our own separate lives.
You notice Kelly's hand resting on the butt of her pistol.
Hey, Kelly.
She stands up and said,
Could you stop that?
she stands up and before she can speak, she looks over at Elliot. Elliot, she says, are you seriously going to let a fetch talk like that to us? They're not even real people. That, she says, pointing at Z, is a bundle of trash wrapped in a shadow and made to look human.
That is my best friend.
At that statement, you're not sure whether Z or Kelly is scowling harder. Okay, Kelly, you can shoot me now, Z.
Kelly?
So,
Okay, can I ask a quick set of questions here? Just before we go on. because I feel like there's a lot of hostility in the room, and a lot of it is merited. Kelly is the person who knew where you guys were, and we were hoping able to get us into this room without immediately getting shot, which so far was successful. But I feel like has been an issue from here on out. We came because we believed that we were dealing with a similar existential threat, and Kenzie has been thinking about you since the moment they found out that you were still alive. They've been worried about you and wanted to do something to help. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't have any reason to believe that you guys are a problem for each other. Likewise, the continued existence of a different Elliot McCoy, honestly, I just feel bad for him because he's sitting in somebody's fridge waiting for the cannibal to get hungry. I don't think anyone deserves to be up on a chopping block. I spent my entire what felt like years being consumed by this asshole. So maybe I understand what you were worried about, but if you don't want us here, we'll leave. But I had hoped we could find some way to help each other get through this. You've been dealing with him for longer than we have.
Don't make a mistake here. While the cannibal is an existential threat to all of us, so are changelings. This is like a pack of wolves coming to negotiate with the sheep.
All right.
There's one thing that makes us very different than the pack of wolves. We don't bite the hand that feeds us. We don't hurt our allies. And as far as I can fucking tell, fetches, they're not inherently evil, and they're not inherently non-people, Kelly. Yeah, they have a piece of us. That means that part of our goodness and our humanity is within them. So inherently, they are a person. And the moment that they go off and start having their own experiences separate from us, they are their own individual, Kelly. Don't start talking like Agatha.
Kelly raises an eyebrow but remains silent. Z is watching in what appears to be mild amusement. Okay then, she says. So, suppose we were to agree to help you. What would be in it for us?
Well, I can secure some financial support for sure. If that would be helpful, I can provide food, supplies, finances for direct concerns. I think we can reasonably state that nobody has any particular problem with your camp existing, and we might be willing to help protect you and yours, knowing that they are not a threat to the Changeling courts. And of course, you'd have one of the other boots off your neck by the matter of it simply not existing.
Kelly bristles at that and shakes her head and says, "We can't offer them any sort of amnesty. I do have an arrangement with them, but the day is going to come when I deal with each and every one of them here.
not without them fucking up first. If they're a threat, they're a threat. If they are peaceful and leave us the fuck alone, then what you are doing, Kelly, is murder. Pure and simple.
can only murder something that's alive.
And they are.
You're just good at looking that way.
What if something, okay, without going into a big philosophical debate here, because that's what this is. We have to trust our senses. And everything that I see and experience when talking to Z and everyone else here tells me that they are alive, they are sentient, and they have emotions. That's all I fucking need.
I didn't expect you to start falling in love with fetches, Kit.
You've mistaken my hostility towards my fetch for hostility towards fetches.
To be fair, he's a billionaire. I wouldn't like him even if he wasn't a fetch.
I've always been a union guy myself.
Did they have billionaires back when you came from? Don't think they
No,
had
we
that
have the
much
Rock-
money around.
We have the Rockefellers.
Fair enough.
Kelly says, well, I'm outranked here by a spring noble. So you three do what you want. She stomps off and leaves the area.
Well, that's awkward.
While they're talking, I'm talking to Z. And I say, I can even give you more power.
This seems to interest her. Okay, money. That's a good start. What? Power? What are you talking about?
Well, from what I hear, the way I understand it, is when I get more powerful, you get more powerful.
The magical tap that Kenzie has into the things also affects what you have.
I don't know exactly what it's like, but like Kenzie holds up her fist for a fist bump.
You're gonna have to do it. I don't think she's willing to keep going until you do.
Z scowls and says, if you must, and returns it.
As her fist bump touches mine, I say, Wonder Twin Powers, activate, and start giggling like mad, and that's when the two weird that I purchased kick in.
Z sighs hard and rolls her eyes. But she does notice the increase in weird as the power flows into her via her connection to you. So, first off, thanks. Second off, I'm not going to count this as any sort of bargaining chip, considering you got power for yourself that, via the nature of me having part of your soul, just happens to also give me power. So,
That's okay.
money, fine. At least one of you seems to outrank Kelly.
I'm a noble.
I don't know much about your structure, just that you guys have kings and queens like it's fucking England or something. So, being nobility means you're in charge of the
Second
army
rank
people.
down. Second rank down. That's all it means.
second rank down, whatever. I don't know what you guys call it. So if you outrank her, good. What I want from you... Oh, thank you, Rose. What I want from you is for you to get Kelly to make one of your magic promises to keep her hands off of us. I know that there are hostile fetches, so I'm not going to say all fetches. In fact, I don't care about any fetches outside of this room. But that doesn't mean I approve of you guys either. So you make one of your magic promises that you can't break, that she won't touch anyone here without reason. And then I'm willing to help you. And I think you'll want what I've got.
All right. So, here's what I'm offering. Straightforwardly. We'll provide some financial and supplies support, whatever you guys need to get yourselves on a good footing. And anybody who is under your jurisdiction, as long as they do not cause harm, steal from, or attempt to kill any changelings, they have our protection. The Jack Catch won't go after them. Fair enough?
That's fair enough to me. I know you're going to have to do some finagling to get that magic promise. But I'll tell you what I can do for you. I'm not going to give it to you until you've held up your end of the bargain. But you three seem to know that I escaped from the cannibals. He had me in one of his labs. I think it's in Cotton's corporate headquarters here. I can show you how I got out, and you can use it to get in.
Sounds good. I think that's definitely worth it. By the way, your friend who got hurt, I assume that magical healing would be offensive to offer.
She's mortal.
That doesn't matter.
This relationship is transactional. I'm not letting a changeling touch anyone here.
Understood.
You're fairies. Personally, I don't see you as any different than the one who took you to Arcadia.
I'm not interested in arguing that point. I'm going to go have a chat with my compatriot.
As a sign of trying to establish relations and all that stuff, keep the medkit.
How generous. She bows down. Thank you very much, my lord.
Not a lord.
Anyways, let me go talk with our compatriot. I feel like the longer I'm here, the more of your nerves I'm going to fray. Kelly, excuse me, one moment.
Kelly left. She's gone.
That's fair.
All right, well... Do you have a cell phone?
I thought all of you had cell phones.
No, not. I'm asking Z.
She looks around and says, do I look like I have a cell phone?
I've been surprised before.
Well, the answer is yes, because it's hard to get around in this world without them.
I figured.
She brings out an old model iPhone. with a cracked screen. So, you want to share contact information?
If that's all right. Nope, I'm not going to offer.
She scribbles down the number on the piece of her number on the piece of paper and hands it to the three of you. Well, there's going to have to be some small measure of trust or else we can't work together, period.
Would you like me to fix your screen?
No.
Okay. I pass them my number on a similar piece of paper.
Z looks Kinsey right in the eye and says, "What about you?"
I already put it in my phone and sent you a text message with a smiley face emoji.
You see her hide a brief smile behind a grimace. Sounds like you. I had to learn to be responsible fast because of you. I hope you learn someday.
Anyways, thank you for agreeing to meet with us. I apologize for intruding on your night.
Can you see yourself out, or do you need a guide out of the tunnels?
Kit, do you remember the way out?
Yep.
I think we'll be fine if that's all right.
All right, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I follow Kit out.
Wait, do we hug now?
I'm not hugging you.
Oh, okay. Fist bump?
You've had that.
Okay. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night. She waves reluctantly. Bye.
This is completely out of character that I'm laughing. Because Elliot totally waited till he got to the car to start breaking down laughing.
I really need to talk to Agatha.
I don't think she likes me very much, guys.
I don't think she does, no. So, let's head over to court. We need to talk to some people.
Alrighty. So you guys want to head back to the Four Seasons?
Yep. We need to gather the troops before we head out, and if I were to gamble anything, I'm guessing this is where Kelly will have gone. If not, it'll be pretty easy to get them to show up there.
Alrighty. So, the ride back to the Four Seasons takes about half an hour. By the time you're there, the sun is well and truly set. It's about 9 p.m. Heading down into the sub-basement where the freehold holds court, you see that it's not especially packed tonight, but there are a good few changelings around. The Grimalkins are running around fixing things and serving drinks and food as appropriate. They seem especially happy. Now that you're here, were you looking for Kelly or anyone else or any phone in particular?
I think we need to start with Kelly.
Yeah.
Then we'll start gathering up the troops.
Kelly is notably easy to find. She's sitting at the bar, drinking with a handful of glasses gathered around her. The Grimalkin in the smart tuxedo mixing the drinks doesn't seem to be able to keep up.
I take his place, giving him a chance to deal with some of his other customers. Hey,
Kelly looks up to greet you.
So, I have a job, Kelly, like you have a job. My job is politics. And I'm afraid that my job got in the way of your job tonight.
Kelly looks up from her drink to look at the three of you in turn.
Senate.
Oh, no problem, Seneschal, she says. Although we may not be in the same court, it's always a pleasure to serve the nobility.
So.
She looks over at Kit and Kinsey and then goes back to her drink. With her back turned to you, she said, "So, were you simply trying to sweet talk the fetches for what they have? Or were you being honest?"
I'm going to be real with you. I don't have enough knowledge to form an opinion either way, but I know how to talk in an enemy camp with people I'm hoping to get shooting in the same direction I am.
I've been training you, Kit. You know what these things are.
I do.
She looks back at you with tears in her eyes. And yet you're going to take their side over mine?
Your job is to take care of the factions. And my job is to do what is best for the freehold.
Right now, the only thing I am thinking about is the fact that Rupert Cotton is trying to create a new True Fae. That is where my thoughts are beginning and ending right now.
She looks back down, finishes her drink, and holds up a hand for another one.
It's already in her hand.
That's fair, she says, gritting her teeth. You can see the stitches where her white silk teeth are held together.
So, Elliot McCoy is an idiot. In both cases, I might argue, but specifically the one that's under Rupert Cotton's employ. He's a dumb person who's getting dragged around and set up to be sitting in the fridge for somebody who's planning on using him as a snack at some point. I have difficulty being angry about him, but that's mostly because he doesn't matter.
Then why do you care if another fetch kills him or eats him or breaks him down for parts?
Because I honestly don't like the guy who would be killing him or eating him or breaking him down for parts. And honestly, it seems like a shitty thing to have happen to anything. I wouldn't like it if you did that to a dog.
Yeah, plus then you can't get anything out of it.
In all manners, I don't care. But what I do care about tonight is that Sister Mary is going to cause us a third and final betrayal by getting her stupid ass killed. And I know where she is. And to get in there, I need the help of somebody who's gotten in there already, because the other alternative is marching an army through the front door of a place that has been prepping for an army getting marched through it since it was built.
She's
Whereas I can march a mirror down into as far deep into as I can, and we can have a conga line of winter nights and summer nights step out into their space and beat them black and blue and bring Sister Mary back for her proper trial instead of being fed to a huntsman.
Kelly puts her face down on the counter. She sighs, and somewhere along the line, that sigh starts to turn into a small scream. I know that you're right. And I know that this is for the good of the freehold. And I know that Agatha herself would tell me to shut my mouth before a potential ally starts to think that maybe there's no point in allying with us. But I kill monsters.
You do.
Fetches are monsters the true Fae make to just convince everyone that they don't kidnap people. After a week, they don't matter to them anymore.
Okay.
You are doing an incredibly valuable service and you're protecting us. And so here's...
I don't expect an answer for this right now. It's just something I want you to think about. What is it? What is a person?
Philosophy aside.
You haven't seen what some of the fetches can do. Depending on what part one of the Fae wants to tear out to use as a basis for the fetch, they can be fine, like Z. Or they can think it might be a real riot to kill their wife and eat her. And you don't know what kind of fetch you're dealing with until it's too late. Z's been not nice, but docile for 6 months. But I'll never know if that's real or not until she's torn my head off.
Absolutely.
How is that any different than anybody else you meet on the street? Have you been to war? Full-scale war.
No, before I was taken, I was on the PTA.
I've seen mustard gas. I've seen trench warfare. Those are monstrous, right? If humans can be monsters, monsters can be human.
She takes a sip and says, sometimes I forget how old you are, Kit. She drinks that drink down to the last and holds out her hand for another.
It is already in her hand.
Your human mask looks like you'd be
26, 27.
a little younger than my oldest. Last I heard, he was in LA doing software design. She grits her teeth and drinks down the new drink in one gulp as well. My fetch is the one who told me about that. So I guess maybe we're not as different after all. I can't be in my kid's life anymore. I was taken about 5 years ago. But from my perspective, it was somewhere around 30. And the things the Lord of Tales used me for, I can't be a mother anymore. I'm not their mom. My fetch is. They don't want to know me. They want to know her. And if they knew about me, they'd think I was a monster. And maybe they'd be right. So, forget about it, kid. Water under the bridge.
Is this the part where we hug?
She gives you a faint smile, the tears running down her cheeks, and says, yeah, this is the part where we can hug.
Kenzie gives her a great big old hug.
So when you need me, you give me a call, and maybe when I finish training you, Kit, you'll be better at being a jack catch than I was. Well, I'm not going to retire, but God knows how long it'll be before so I underestimate some fetch and get my head torn off.
So.
You may be right, but don't forget, I'm not wrong either.
I don't think you are. I don't ever think you are. So, I want to talk to you about something. And this was the other thing I needed to talk to you about. Do you remember how we went and visited a accountant at the end of the other evening? I believe I told you that was where we were headed.
Mm-hmm. One of your big plans?
Yeah. He's got a list of everywhere he's sent money. Everywhere. Which means we've got a list of every fetch that he's been working with, where to find them, who's paying them, how they're getting paid.
Her eyes light up. And I assume some of these are the ones that you'll want to take down.
I want all of them gone. Every last one of them gone.
Including yours?
I don't care about him. Maybe I'll find a reason to care about him. But I don't. At the end of the day, I've got a list of all the people that you're going to be needing to pay attention to. So here's my real thoughts on these 20 whatevers in a homeless camp. They agree to keep their heads down and not give me a reason to look at them. You're going to be busy. You're going to be busy with dangerous things that need to go away. And I'm going to give you every bit of tools that you need to deal with them.
Ellie wipes her tears away and gives a small, self-satisfied smirk. You're smarter than I gave you credit for, Seneschal.
I just can't talk about these things in front of everybody. Sometimes I have to have the conversation I can have where I am. And besides, I figured this one would go over a couple of drinks in.
Okay. When I'm done with the list, I'll bring yours to you, and you can figure out what to do with them.
I'd like to kill him myself if I'm gonna kill him. I think I think I need to stop having everyone else do their violence for me.
She gets up and says, well, I'll be happy to get started. You
So,
got the information?
here's what we got offered, and here's what we were asked for. If you're not willing to do it, then I will do without. They have the way in to the compound where Sister Mary is being kept, and where Rupert is right now, because that's the way they got out. They're willing to give that for protection for theirs, as long as they don't harm, kill, or steal from any changelings. Period. End of sentence. They turn on us, they're open ground, and you'll know about them immediately.
That sounds fair enough. But I did want to ask, why are you sure that Sister Mary's being kept at the same place? I've talked to Z before about her escape, and I think that she was being held in their corporate headquarters. Cotton International has facilities all over this city.
That's a good question. I honestly haven't checked the map. I open up a map app and notate the direction things are pulling and see if it lines up.
It does not. The Cotton corporate headquarters is in the west of Las Vegas, in the Spring Valley area, whereas the tug of the relentless pursuit that you activated on Sister Mary is going northeast. Looking at the map, you would figure that she would be somewhere north of Nellis Air Force Base.
How interesting. You're right. Worth checking. I suspect that one's still going to be useful, but perhaps not tonight. But we'll figure that out when it comes time for it. She knew it was going to take some negotiations with you, so let's just pretend this took a little longer than it did.
Well, I'd be surprised if Rupert was holed up in the same place he's keeping Sister Mary. He's a billionaire. You said it yourself. He can afford infinite guards, infinite scientists.
Well, I'm going to make my way to the first problem. And then we'll deal with the other problem when the time comes. So, I got a question for you. Are you getting tired of us tonight, or would you like to come along on the rescue mission?
So do you guys want her around out of character?
I mean, she's useful and dangerous, but I think that they are probably too many sheets to the wind at this point. And also, honestly, I was expecting to fill out our ranks with a group of winter and summer knights.
I see what you did there. Sheets to the wind.
It,
All right, Kelly's willing to come with you if you're willing to risk it.
I think that Kelly needs a night off. So let's go talk to the Royals.
Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty,
You know, one of these
I'll be
days
back briefly.
we really need to do need to ask who on earth the winter nobility is one of these days. So, just to make sure that we're all on point, I've got where we're going this evening. And we do need to do something about that.
Yep.
Here's my thoughts on the matter. We get in as far as we can, and we pull a full-length mirror out of whatever doorway happens to be nearby, if not the duffel bag. Then we march all of the people whatchamacallit, from the other side here. Then we've got a perfect invasion force in the middle of their forces. Does that make sense to anyone else? You're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Trying to think though. See,
There has to be one other person in this entire fucking freehold who has your mirror contract. There must be one. If there isn't,
All right, I'm back. Are you guys talking tactics?
basically.
yep.
All right, do you need more time to do that? Because I can hold off until you're done in order to move to the next scene.
Alright, since we're going to be asking the nobility this precise question, can I just get a simple answer? Is there somebody within any of the knighthoods who has the mirror walk contract who can reliably use it?
Bound to be, yeah.
Alright, here is the basic game plan. We're going to get in as far as we possibly can with a small strike force. Then, at the moment we have gotten in as far as we can, we pull a full-length mirror out of the duffel bag, or whatever convenient doorway is nearby, to hammer space, and we pull through every bit of military force we can to deal with what defenses are there, extract the priest, and do as much damage to the place as we can. That about where everyone else is?
Alrighty. Operation Jack in the Box engage.
Alrighty, so you guys done talking turkey then?
Yes.
So, yeah. Guess we need to go talk with at least Will and Leo, if not the Royals total. I don't know who's available.
All right, while court isn't currently being held, there are there are at least two of the monarchs actively here today. And as luck would have it, they are Will and Leo. When you approach them, they appear to be playing a game of poker.
I'd ask if I could get my hand in, but I don't think I have that long. You guys mind a little discussion over cards?
Leo breaks into a smile when he sees you there, and Will gives a curtain nod and a small smile to Kenzie. By all means, I'm not sure we can make you leave if we asked, says Will. Take a seat, everybody. I guess this is down to war planning, huh?
Well, we've got two last major issues to deal with, and one of them is the fact that I don't think any of us would like to see Rattlebones follow in his father's footsteps, I believe is the way he's been putting it this time.
I've been filled in about some of the information that you three have found in your travels.
Well, I have, among my gifts, the ability to find anyone I'm looking for. And I started looking for them 2 days ago. I have a certain talent for finding people, and I know where she is. We can't leave her where she is, or else she's going to be used to extract a contract, a title? I think that's what it's called. From the from the huntsman, which will surely... I don't think that's a worthwhile trade, down a huntsman, up a fae. So I'm going to get rid of her. And honestly, I believe that she deserves to stand trial. Properly. For multiple reasons. I don't think she deserves to do any more harm to our freehold.
I agree that she deserves to stand trial. Leo punctuates Will's statement by hitting the table and saying, "She certainly does. I had no idea that she was a traitor to the freehold in this capacity." Will gives Leo a smirk and looks back at the group. But in terms of war tactics, I know at least me and Agatha have been reading over the information that Gizmo extracted from their database. I assume that you three have done the same.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's a lot to print out. I'm still working through it.
I've gone through it as much as I can understand.
Well, right now we're just talking about Sister Mary. I went over what we found there, what you guys found there. Rupert's journal, his communication with Sister Mary, etc. The first thing I want to ask is, assuming Rupert is right, and he has found what would break the pledge for the Lord of Tales to hold this other title that was used to make the Grim Hunter. What does that actually mean for Sister Mary?
Quite simply.
Think tactically, you three.
Right now, her only utility to these people is the fact that she is a target that a huntsman can be forced to pursue. Rattlebones is not in charge of the huntsman, and he's not going to shoot some random mortals. I don't know another single person who's currently A, a changeling, and B, currently ordained. So while it might be useful to us to arrange such a circumstance later under our own prowess, getting rid of this is the one that Rupert can easily arrange. Rupert doesn't have any other changelings under his employ, as far as I am aware.
Will looks at Kenzie and Kit, especially back to Kenzie. All right, the two of you have any thoughts? Because I want to know if you've seen what I've seen.
Well, two things. Well, aside from the fact that, yeah, Rupert needs the sister to be able to strong arm Rattlebones. She could also be bait for us.
He holds up a finger. One. And he looks over to Kenzie.
Can I make a wits plus academics roll to see if Kenzie would know?
Makes sense.
Actually, can I recommend Streetwise? Because this is very clearly a tactics thing.
But Kenzie now has academics. Which one is better?
Academics.
Then
Wow.
roll that.
With a willpower. 2 successes.
All right, bear with me here. I'm going to type this out for you. So I don't have to take over your character for your revelation.
Thank you.
So she's a trap. I mean, that makes sense. So easy to get stuck on the thing in front of me. This is why I'm... Leo, after this, I think I'm going to need you to teach me how to fight. I'm too used to having violence at the other end of the stick. All right.
So glad I can roll at times like this.
So, I mean, they've made an incredibly valid point, Kit. So they're waiting for us and they're baiting us. The huntsman. Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck.
I'm curious what your oh fuck was.
I've been forced to put tactics through my brain and now it's working. Because I think, I'm gonna let Kenzie have their revelation, but if not, I think I figured out what they were pointing at, and I feel very dumb right now. But it's an in-character sort of dumb. Elliot would have never thought of this without prompting.
I do have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's feasible or not. So I'm gonna wait on the idea that I just came up with.
Well, I've finished typing, so Kenzie can have Kenzie's brainwave without me having to take over Kenzie's character. Please feel free to put these thoughts in your own words.
It seems kind of clear that, like, Rupert's plot here is kind of not so bueno for him either. Because, like, assuming he's, like, got this all straight about the catch and the Grim Hunter's pledges, all it would take to break them is for the Grim Hunter to harm any clergyman. And he's pretty smart. Rattlebones doesn't specifically need Sister Mary, and Rupert's asking for a really big price for something that's convenient but not necessary, and he won't be happy if he figures out he's been hoodwinked.
Fair enough.
Will smiles and says, "Bingo! You all have some good good notes there. For one, I would be extremely surprised if Rattlebones wasn't also watching this facility with the idea that you would come calling."
And there's also the other problem. The
But
huntsmen
what-
have been specifically chasing us for reasons I don't quite understand, but they've made it very clear that they had an icon of each of us in their possession. So it would honestly be easier to bait him somewhere they wanted him to be if we were there.
And so this is more complicated than you were thinking, says Will.
I'm I'm too used to having violence at the other end of a stick. I need to stop doing that.
But Kinsey also has a good point. Because that's what I was thinking too. If Rattlebones knew what Rupert was doing, he wouldn't take it sitting down.
And he's more of a danger to Rupert than he is to us. Rupert needs him.
He nods. At the end of the day, you three are the ones who are going to be risking your neck. I'll lend my knights to your cause. Leo responds by thumping his fist down on the table and saying, "And I will, of course. So what if there's some sort of complicated war plan going on? Let's see how good the plan is when they're all shot in the head."
The subtlest of magics are often have little effect with a knife in your throat. Forget where I read that from.
So Will shrugs and says, "At the end of the day, how you want to tackle this is on you." But I've said my piece.
Are we able to bait the huntsman to us?
I don't think it would be hard. But honestly, if we're looking for someone to bait, I know where to find him. And we've already talked about it. Rattlebones is going to be on the other side of the wall there. Pick a door. I suspect I won't have any difficulty finding him.
The issue that
question, Leo, Will. Assuming that the worst happens and I'm not able to otherwise prevent Sister Mary from being used for the purpose indicated, is summary execution an acceptable choice on the battlefield?
In the summer court, it absolutely would be. And Will nods and says, "Personally, I would have shot her immediately, but I understand how justice works."
I just want an option, and I figure if the reigning king is all right with it, I'll work it out with the former Viscount.
So, is there anything else we can do for you three?
Well, do you happen to have someone under your employ who has the contract known as Mirror Walk? Because we need them to touch a mirror for us to have a quick entry point if things get a little less complicated.
Leo nods and says, "I believe one of my knights has it."
We'll need to make introductions before we head out. I figure if we can have them in a rally point somewhere, this would be a quick way to get everybody in a quick little conga line of violence. Stop.
Oh, great. Let's see here.
So the reason why I was asking why, or if we could bait the huntsman somewhere, because I was wondering if informing the huntsman of this plot would be beneficial.
That's an interesting question. The other question I have that just occurred to me now, Will, if I needed to make somebody disappear and not be found, would you happen to be very good at that?
Will happens to spread his hands in a conciliatory gesture. Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I would say that the city dump is well occupied, few vacancies.
Well, the other question I had is, if we run into Rattlebones and should happen to put him down, I've noticed his dad likes putting him back together, but I imagined he would need some part of him to work with. If I brought his remains to you, do you think you could make him difficult to locate?
That's a possibility if you could actually put him down.
Well, that's up to you, Kit.
I'll do what I can.
We just want to cover all of our bases.
Alrighty. Anything else you guys need to do here?
I think I'm good. Are you guys good?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should move on
All right, let's get in a car and talk tactics.
after having someone touch her.
Yeah.
Which mirror do you want touched?
We purchased a full-length mirror at Walmart, something a person could reasonably walk through, like a doorway. And we have put this very neatly in the hammer space. It is withdrawn for this purpose.
Alrighty. In that case, since you needed someone with mirror walk to do that, let's see. Bear with me here.
Before leaving the table, Kenzie takes a look at both Will and Leo's hands and just giggles.
All right. So, Leo has one of the knights at court. Get the one that you were talking about. A summer knight is brought out. A large guy who looks like he has various chunks of rock embedded in his skin. His hands are about 3 or 4 times bigger than they should be, and they're shaped very much like shovels with long claws at the end. Something like if a mole were weaponized into a primitive tank. When told the plan, he nods along and touches the mirror.
All right. They are given an entirely separate mirror, which Kit has touched to wait with at the rally point.
Yep.
And we're going to get on the car and start talking about the plan as we follow my nose up to where we're going.
All right. So let's go ahead and change scenes. So you guys have now left the Four Seasons and are on the way north. Triangulating the pull you feel from relentless pursuit. That is taking you to the northeast. Considering the nature of the contract, you're not able to put a exact location on it. But Uh, looking at the map, you would assume that this would be somewhere in the north areas of the Freehold's territory. The pole seems to be taking you somewhat uphill, so it seems like you'd be going past Nellis Air Force Base, but you're not sure exactly how far yet.
So, what do you guys want to do? I think they brought up a good point. If we can make it so that Rupert doesn't have access to Rattlebones, I think that would probably help dealing with this problem. But I'm not sure I want Rattlebones to know the trick either.
What if we just kill Rattlebones?
Okay. Honestly, I think our best bet is honestly to just inform the huntsman of the plot against him.
It's an interesting thing.
He already knows what his weaknesses are, so it's not going to be any new information again for him, and it's going to turn him against Rattlebones and Rupert. And if
neither of them is in charge of him in a real way,
and if they try and pull this off, Huntsman's aware of what's going on.
So
I hate to say this, but I think our best course of action is just to let the huntsman know of the trap.
we can do that, and we can also blow his head off pretty neatly, solving that and giving us some time. Then we can go rescue the sister at our leisure.
Yeah.
All right, so you three have settled on a plan?
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, I guess we're going to go find somewhere we can go head into the hedge with and start finding the huntsman. I suspect he's going to be relatively nearby. And if not, well, that's what hedge navigation rolls are for. And both me and Kenzie have gotten reasonably good at that lately.
So, the pull of the relentless pursuit leads you further and further to the northeast until you find yourself at going past the Nellis Air Force Base and up through a field of solar panels. You find yourself in a parking lot. Across the street from you is the Summit View Youth Correction Center. Here, there appear to be a couple of warehouses and a small disused strip mall. The building that the relentless pursuit takes you towards is a 2-story building, set apart by a few hundred feet from the strip mall. The building itself is labeled as an optometrist clinic, but also states that it's going to be closed for the next 6 months for renovations, according to a sign on the front door.
Okay. By the way, who was driving? Alright, since you were driving, I spent a couple minutes on my phone and chuckled to myself. I'm going to remember this later.
Okay.
Good memes, I guess.
No, I've got a idea I just need to have spent some time for. Regardless, let's get going. Since this is a correctional facility, are there gates around the place, or is there a door that's most immediately available?
The correctional facility is across the road from you. This place looks like on one side the warehouses were meant to serve the correctional facility, and the strip mall where the optometrist building you are pointed to is seemed to be perhaps there to entertain the visitors and guests, or at least extract their funds from them.
So, I'm gonna be real, guys. Do we want to just walk right up there, or do we want to enter the hedge from one of these other buildings?
Let's go into the hedge with one of these other buildings.
Well, let's walk into the let's walk over to the warehouse and make ourselves a gate into the hedge.
Yep. And we want the attention of the huntsman, yes?
I believe that was the plan we'd settled on.
Okay. Then I will not be the one opening it this time.
I open up the gate.
All right. You open up a hedge gateway into the nearby warehouse. On this side, the warehouse itself appears to be completely disused and abandoned. A handful of animalistic hobgoblins appear to be using it as a place to get out of the sun and sleep for the night. The place is overran with plants.
All right.
But what catches your eye when you look across the way to where the optometrist's office is that it's a lot bigger on this side. There appears to be additional building here. A large annex, almost half the size of the warehouse. And on this side, the strangest thing you swear you've seen, the whole building is fenced in with barbed wire. Modern-looking barbed wire, not the weird glassy barbed wire of the hedge vines in this area.
It's so weird to see the works of man out of the iron side. How far is it to this stuff?
Probably about the length of 2 football fields.
Okay, I don't think I want to walk that far just to check a theory. So,
So what's your next course of action, Dennis?
Well, I could go check your theory.
would you mind
I guess I'm.
going and seeing if the barbed wire is made out of iron? I pass you a goblin fruit. I figure this will react strongly if it is.
I carry it with me as I seep into the shadow and head over there.
All right. Under cover of shadow, you find yourself up against the barbed wire fence. Do you want to roll perception for me, please?
I think.
While she's moving over, I'm gonna post up and watch her back with my rifle.
I'm gonna willpower. Apparently I fail.
Something tickles your mind for a moment before receding. Do you want to make this a dramatic failure and grab a beat?
Guys, am I feeling lucky?
Up to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, you're up to the fence. You had a thought, but you lost that train of thought. Do you want to tap the goblin fruit against it or whatever you were here to do?
Yes.
Yes.
The goblin fruit appears to boil itself out of existence, evaporating in your hand.
I believe that confirms it, and I head back over to the warehouse in the shadow.
So, you see anything?
It boiled away.
Alright. Kit, tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay. Am I able to do a perception check on the general area?
Sure.
It's 8 plus 10 with 8 again. Five successes.
All right. Kinsey, do you have the silver sword with you?
I do.
Okay. So, a few things. Kit takes a good look around the area, looking briefly through the scope of his rifle and also giving it the bare eyeball treatment too. A couple of things catch his attention. There appears to be a security system set up on the building here that wasn't there on the iron side. Likewise, though faint, Kit is certain that he can see some light coming from the extended area that the outbuilding that it was attached on this side, but not existent on the other one. Third, speaking of light, you notice that Kinsey's silver sword seems to have activated itself and is glowing.
Betrayal, I believe, activates that.
Oakenheart.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It activates when Rattlebones is within the same building or 20 meters of the blade.
alright. So that means he's in there. Speaking of activating weaponry, I'm going to make a clarity attack against myself as I prick my soul against the edge of my bow. That's 2 successes against myself.
Congrats. Take your clarity damage.
Yep. I believe that's 2 points of mild clarity.
Mm-hmm. Second off, I would like to take a moment just to go over what exactly the Silver Sword does. You mentioned that it does activate when he's within the same building or 20 meters of the blade. 20 meters is about 65 feet.
So you were real fucking close to him. He's not.
And he. Sorry, good.
He's not in there. He's out here. Hey, sniper.
Yes.
If you were posting up here permanently, where here would you like to be? It's relatively close.
Kenny, did I notice any good spots?
Give me a quick investigation roll.
Okay. Does this count as investigating? Was it Faye or? One second.
You're in the hedge, so yes.
Okay. So that is going to be a total of 13 dice with none again. That's one success.
Looking around this area of the hedge, there is an area that simply speaks to you for its potential as a sniper boost. Looking to the area where across the street on the iron side there would be a correctional facility for minors, what you see instead is a sprawling black castle made of glass with around it a number of tall towers, each about 100 feet high, serving as guard towers. These towers would definitely be within sniper range of this area.
I mentioned those. I mentioned those without actually looking directly at them or motioning to them or anything like that.
All right. So there are several of these towers.
Mm-hmm. One on each corner of the facility.
And one of them's close to us.
Mm-hmm. The warehouse where you're at, looking at the map, let me just send you the map here that I'm looking at. Bear with me a moment.
So, Tibbs.
Yeah.
I think I've figured out how to locate the huntsman. Is that what we want to do, or do we want to investigate the post?
Well,
Because he might
we're
be
here.
in the post.
We're here for the huntsman. And I personally would like to see if we can bait him out here, where I'm already set up and I can take the aim action while you guys are doing the talking part.
All right. Reach into my pocket and pull out the knuckle bones I borrowed from a friend of mine earlier. Do you mind if I borrow these a minute?
Go for it.
I appear to have broken the Google map that I've set up somehow.
It's okay. That's perfectly fine. So, I grabbed the knuckle bones. You know, the knuckle bones, the token.
Mm-hmm.
Offer up a glamour and ask a question. Is the grim huntsman within 100 yards of my position? And roll the dice. Even is yes, odd is no.
How many yards did you say?
Well, I think we were... Actually, how far away is the second guard tower?
The southwest corner of the facility is the one that's closest to you.
An arbitrary amount of distance that will include both guard towers, as I will be narrowing it down after that. I assume that Kit was able to give me numbers.
Yes. I would say, looking at the map, about 30 yards from where you're at.
Okay.
Okay, I need to fix this map later, but apparently I have done something to it.
Shouldn't be too the need for specific. As long as both guard towers are in the range of my question, I asked that amount.
Yes.
Roll again. Are the Grim Huntsman and Rattlebones together?
No.
Is the Grim Huntsman at the nearest guard tower?
No.
Is the Grim Huntsman at the far guard tower?
No.
Hey, can I get somebody who's better at military bullshit to help me narrow down another question? By the way, I have the informed condition on the Grim Huntsman.
Okay, so we've narrowed it down. So he's not
in the nearby guard tower. And he's not in the far guard tower, so he is somewhere else. And he is not...
But he's within... I believe it was 30 yards?
He is somewhere in this area equal to the distance to the far guard tower around us.
Well, why don't we just shout for him?
Because then we would also be informing Rattlebones as to our position, who's about 20 feet over our head. And I want to make sure we're really sure of what we're doing before we do that. I was also hoping to get you a good post to get a shot ready on Rattlebones first.
I don't know how we're going to be able to get the attention of the huntsman and not Rattlebones.
Oh, I know, but I want to make sure that we are doing that at the moment we know where the fucking huntsman is. And so I was trying to get an answer to his location. Hey, Kenny, I'm going to use one of my other resources real quick here. Could I make common sense and be smarter in character than I am out of character?
Alrighty, let's pull up the common sense merit. This is why I give it to you. this is a bit of a house rule here, but I let all of my players have the common sense merit for free, purely so it never gets to a point where I've stumped them and they don't know what to do. Okay, effect. Your character has an exceptionally sound and rational mind. With a moment's thought, she can weigh potential courses of action and outcomes. Once per session as an instant action, you may ask the storyteller one of the following questions about a task at hand or course of action. Roll wits plus composure. If you succeed, the storyteller must answer to the best of her ability. If you fail, you get no answer. With an exceptional success, you can ask an additional question. With dramatic failure, the storyteller can give you a piece of information that is false. If you follow that intuition regardless of risk, take a beat. And then it gives you the 4 questions. In case you don't have it up yet, this merit's on page 121. So make your wits and plus composure roll, please.
You got it. I got a success, which means I get to ask a question. My question is, what is the safest choice here for finding the location of the huntsman?
What you know already, when Kinsey went over to the fence, this appears to have activated the token that activates in the presence of betrayal. It also, at some point between when you, Kinsey, reached the fence and got back, after activating, started to glow, which it does when Rattlebones is nearby. Rattlebones is evidently fairly close. The Grim Hunter is here. He is in neither of those guard towers, so he is not in any way sniping for you. So the question there is, if he's not in a sniping position in the guard towers, considering his panoply of a sniper rifle, old-timey though it may be, where is he?
This is the last question I can afford without starting to burn through resources. I think my question is he on or in the building?
Which one? Rattlebones?
The central optometry building that's bigger over here.
Which one? Rattlebones or the Grim Hunter?
Grim Hunter. Does anyone have a better version of the question to answer? At this point, after that, I think we just have to deal with what we have and know that he's nearby and try to counter-snipe him.
Well, if you're trying to talk to him, maybe sniping him wouldn't be the best choice, but he is not in or on that building.
All right. I don't know where he is. And I don't think
you are in a warehouse, derelict though it may be in the hedge.
I turned to one of the hobgoblins. No, they were around here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen the huntsman?
Roll me a presence plus socialize, please.
Could I assist with that?
Please do.
All right.
I also assist and use my hobkin.
6, 7, 8, and...
Does this count as investigating threats from the Fae?
I would have to say yes. It only makes sense.
6 additional dice.
Okay.
And I forgot to roll 5 of them, but I'm just going to stick with that.
Plus another 3 from me.
9. Okay.
If you don't have a positive number at this point, I don't know what to do.
2 successes.
So Kit goes up to one of the hobgoblins hanging around in this area. It's a small dog-like creature. Although you note that it seems to have patches of feathers here and there instead of fur, and is wearing a disused shoe on his head. When you ask it the question, it cocks its ear. Huntsman? Which one?
Either.
Got anything to eat?
I do. Actually, are we feeling generous today?
So I reach into the hammer space and I pull out a steak and some candy. If you answer honestly, you get the candy.
If you tell us both.
If you answer honestly and thoroughly, you get the steak. And if you are and if I decide that I like you, you get both.
The hobgoblin's ears prick up at this. So I saw the wood guy on the roof. He points up with a paw. And I saw the horse riding guy with the gun circling the building. Is that good enough?
Is there anybody else here besides us?
Oh, a bunch of humans in that building. They also have Mark in there.
Mark.
Mm-hmm. My pal, the Manticore.
Okay. Interesting.
I've been waiting here hoping he'd get out soon, but I imagine if he wanted to, he'd be out anytime. Except for that damn fence.
Really? So if that fence were to go down, he'd be wanting to get out, probably.
Yeah.
So, is Mark like us, or is Mark like you?
No, Mark's a manticore. Mark is like
Right.
him.
Mark is like it. Okay. Well, I think you've earned both of these.
And the hobgoblin wolfs them down right in front of you and says, "Pleasure doing business. If you see Mark, tell him I said hi."
Okay.
What's your name?
Tiny.
Nice to meet you, Tiny.
Thank you, Tiny.
So, he's circling the building.
So just wait for him to come by and flag him down.
All right. So, do me a favor.
Hmm.
I'll do the talking. You cover me?
Yeah.
That aim action of your... That aim and eye of yours could use some practice, I imagine.
Yeah.
And if he's got a problem, well, I want him to find out when he's got a bullet through him. Kenzie? You can still bring friends along, can't you?
How so?
Your sneaky goodness?
Oh, yes.
Alright, so we're gonna chill out for a minute and see if what's-his-name makes a circle.
I cast Cloak of Night on all of us.
So,
And I suppose I'm finding a decent sniper position within the warehouse.
being a derelict warehouse is not exactly full of them. but there is a stack of boxes that go 3/4 of the way to the roof. If you're feeling extra adventurous, there seems to be a small hole here that you could crawl up onto the roof. But you remember the hobgoblin's warning.
Yep. So I'm just gonna post up on the boxes.
All right. So let's get ready to rumble.
You wait for about 10 minutes before you finally hear the sound of hooves on sand. Moments later, slowly riding in a circle around the building, you finally see the huntsman.
Good
You want me
evening.
to take Cloak of Night off of any of you?
No, would you just could we just sneak our way close since he's moving slowly? An intercept course shouldn't be too hard to make.
Yep.
I want to get as close to him as possible before I pop into existence.
So we sneak over close to him.
By the way, while this is happening, just in case this goes wrong, would you mind taking a series of aid actions?
Yeah, I'm. As soon as he's within line of sight for me, I start using the aim action.
All right. Once we intercept, I politely request to be visible again, and raise a white flag over my shoulder, waving down the huntsman.
Okay. So, as the Grim Hunter makes his circuit, that is when Elliot chooses to appear. The Grim Hunter's head immediately swivels. His one eye immediately locked on Elliot.
Good morrow, sir. Might we have a quick chat before the violence breaks out?
He narrows his eye, looks up to the roof, and then back down to you. He quietly rides the horse into the warehouse, drawing the gun and placing it across his knees. Hello, little rabbit. Are you here alone?
As far as you're aware. So, I assume that you are not supposed to get yourself killed for no reason, yes? Like proper dead, not me sending you back for a couple of days, but like proper dead, right?
If you think you can kill me, I welcome you to try.
I'm not willing to gamble on that, but I know somebody who is, and I thought it would be of useful knowledge to you, so I figured I'd share. After that, we can deal with each other appropriately.
He raises an eyebrow and says, "What are you talking about?"
The gentleman inside would like to crack you open and take out the piece of you that makes you you, the little title bound to your soul. There's a priestess in there he's going to make you kill so he can trade your bits to the man upstairs.
The eye briefly tracks to the roof. The Grim Hunter coughs, rattling in his armor. What are you saying, boy? Stop playing games and tell me.
If you kill a priest, you'll break the word. You'll shatter like a mirror and leave that juicy little contract around for somebody to eat all up. I imagine you don't want to die and you don't want to break your word. So maybe you don't want to be here. Maybe you want to leave. After all, you report to the big man, not that guy.
Make a presence plus persuasion roll at a -5.
Absolutely. Do my clothes work on him?
In this case, I'm going to have to say no.
Do my striking looks work on him?
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. All right. So presence plus persuasion is 8, plus 2 is 10, minus 5 is 5. Just need one. Just need one. Nope, that didn't happen.
So I see a success. You see the Grim Hunter's eye narrow. The eye patch across the other one is flipped up briefly for the Grim Hunter to feel his face. Underneath the eye patch, you can see what appears to be a false eye of pure gold with some sort of sigil engraved on it. He flips down the eye patch and thoughtfully runs his hands over his heart.
While the eye patch is up, I deliberately try to memorize the
Sigil.
what the sigil is.
Do you have the eidetic memory merit?
I do not, but I have wits and occult.
In that case, I'll allow it with a successful wits plus occult roll.
Yeah. So that's good. Once again 13 with 8 again. Or 9 again, rather.
If only it was 8 again.
Or
Damn,
successes.
son!
All right, you commit the sigil on his false eye to memory.
Cool.
I'll have you know I didn't make any promises, but I understand what you mean. The title that binds me. I happen to like serving my master, and I wish to serve further.
Then perhaps you just don't want to be here for today. I imagine the problem will solve itself if you aren't here.
The Grim Hunter looks down at his gun. I'm sure my master would be thinking much more highly of me if I brought him this information, in addition to one of his sweet escaped rabbits. Would you come with me?
I fear that's not on the table.
So be it, he says, reaching down for his gun.
I raise a hand, and a bullet rips through the air. I'm sorry, Tibbs, I don't mean to make actions for you. Does a bullet rip through the air?
A bullet rips through the air. All right, so...
And And Kenzie, you're invisible and nearby. Would you like to do something?
7, 8. It's gonna be 16. So, yeah. 8 successes, 11 lethal.
Are you shooting at the Grim Huntsman?
I'm shooting his horse.
Sorry, that's amusing. I didn't expect that.
He now has lost his mobility. He doesn't have any of the special movement powers. He just has a horse.
So that is that's gonna be 13 lethal before any armor that the horse may or may not have.
Let me take a look here because this horse is a Fey mount. Bear with me a moment.
Even if it's not dead, that is a lot of fucking damage. If you get him off his horse, I can bind him where he sits, and you can kill him at leisure.
And how much lethal damage was that you said?
13.
The bullet rips through the head of the Grim Hunter's mount, dissolving it into mere leaves on the wind. The Grim Hunter falls to the ground, landing in an animalistic crouch, his gun held in one hand.
No, I'm not alone. And you don't know where the other one is either. It solved my problem equally to send you back the old-fashioned way, in a casket. At this point, I'm drawing my bow.
Okay, so we're going to go into combat, I suppose.
Well, if he's continuing we still have one more whatchamacallit, surprise roll that can be made.
That's right. Are you both are? Is Kenzie planning to attack as well?
If he's continuing hostilities. Sorry.
If he's continuing hostilities, yes. I would have had chances to survey him. Are there any areas that are unarmored?
After his first encounter with the group, he has taken to wearing full armor, including a helmet.
So his face is uncovered.
Yes, there's a visor to the helmet, but he keeps it up.
Will you correct him on that choice?
And since you're asking about hostilities and whether he wants to engage, you know what? Make a manipulation plus intimidation roll with a +2 bonus.
Well, that's good.
Circumstantial, since you killed his horse.
Four successes.
All right, I succeeded.
So, Kinsey, were you attacking, or is that an intimidation roll?
That's an intimidation roll.
Oh.
Okay,
I like
Kinsey.
that way more. Can I not have rolled? I think that's way better.
Whatever. In fact, Kinsey, take Elliot's roll as a assist action and roll one more die. Alrighty. Kinsey, your show at the moment. What are you saying? And/or doing?
I don't think you want to do that. And all that appears out of the darkness is two glowing green cat eyes.
Well, says the Grim Hunter, slinging his gun across his back. I suppose even rabbits are willing to fight when they are cornered. He turns around and walks away. About 30 yards from you, you see him dissolve into sand and disappear on the wind.
So, I suppose it's time to go tell the boy upstairs about the con that was just pulled on him. Boy, I'm having chats with all sorts of people I don't like today. Think the bar rag is working for the little flag thing? I think it's quite funny.
Yep.
Alright. Hey, so I'm gonna go do something real stupid. If this goes bad, I'm gonna jump off the roof, shoot whatever follows me.
Okay.
We're surrounded by, you know, I don't get to flex too often. I open up the door to the hedge, our thingy, and pull out a pile of glass bottles set aside for this purpose, and spend a glamour. I make myself a ladder and climb on the outside right up to the top of the roof. Hey, Rattles! What's up?
You find Oliver Oakenhart sitting on the roof, legs crossed. On the other side of him is a large pane of glass, about the size of the mirrors that you've been using for travel.
Hey, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
He turns around, the segments of his wooden puppet body clacking against each other in the way that earned him his nickname. You can see the molten gold of one eye glow red as he looks at you. In one hand, he's holding a knife made of wood, with which he appears to be slowly cutting off the pinky on his other hand.
Hey, man, it's been a while. How goes the project? Looks like you're getting pretty far along.
He looks at you, cocks a head. Oh, I wondered what you were up to when I saw your friend.
Yeah, I know. But we also knew you were here, and we figured we'd get to talk to you eventually. I was actually out here to talk to you. I heard that you got rumbled by a fucking fetch? That true? Like, I mean, I don't want to believe everything I'm hearing, because, like, stuff happens, but did I hear that guy was trying to, like, rumble you for, like, a bunch of life? A fetch? Holy shit, dude.
The fetch that calls itself Rupert Cotton is one in a large number of useful pawns.
Yeah, but he offered to sell you something you already owned? I just want to make sure I understood this. Because from what I heard, he was trying to sell you one of your dad's own toys.
If you mean the traitorous spring courtier, yes, he is attempted.
No. No, I'm talking about the title thingy. He doesn't have a title. He doesn't even need that thing. There's 100 people who could qualify for that little whatchamacallit. In God, right down the strip itself. He's selling you a bundle of goods when you don't need nothing from him. I can't believe that you got taken in.
Rattlebones leaps to his feet. The knife in his hand grows and extends to a large wooden sword. He points it at you. What are you talking about? It's true, the fetch has offered to sell me that traitorous spring courtier. He stated that should the grim huntsman strike her down, he will shatter, and I will have the title at his heart.
Well, I mean, yes, but it would also happen for 100-odd other people right down the strip. You don't need her. You don't need fucking any changeling. What do you think it was? Are you not... Do you not know why? Boy, I'd hate to think that you weren't clever enough to figure it out on your own and you needed some silly old fetch to solve the problem for you. Boy, Daddy would be embarrassed if he found out about that.
You can almost see the wheels turning in Rattlebone's mind as he thinks.
You don't know. You don't know. And so you needed some old fucking pile of leaves to sort it out for you? You're gonna give him what? What'd you offer him? What, a decade? A century? What'd you offer? What'd that guy get out of you? I'm so curious.
Nothing yet, he growls. You interrupted the deal last time. And are you here? And it appears you're here to interrupt us again. The fetch lies.
He lies. Oh, he lies, my dude. My dude. You could find 100 men who would shatter that boy. Hell, it's not even necessarily a man. It might be a place. But you don't know. And you aren't clever enough to figure it out, are you? And you want to be like Daddy. Oh, that's so cute. I'm actually having a blast here. You know, honestly, this is funnier. I might just go. I can't believe you're getting rumbled like this, though. Way to start off your illustrious career.
Rattlebones appears to have had everything he wants to stand from you. He roars in anger and rushes you with the sword.
I fall off the back of the roof.
Roll initiative.
This is super funny to me, guys, and if I get stabbed for it, it was worth it.
All right, so in the initiative order, let's see, everyone's rolling. So let's see, Kenzie has gotten 17. Kit has gotten 12. Rattlebones has gotten 3. And Elliot has gotten 10. I can't in good conscience state that Rattlebones has gotten a surprise round.
I was waiting for him.
So Kenzie hears the rush of footsteps on the roof.
Did I go up with you, Elliot?
I don't know. Did you?
No, but you hear the rush of footsteps on the roof.
Okay, so I run to wherever Elliot is jumping off and angle my sword up after I catch him.
All right, so do you want to delay your action in that case?
Yes, to right before Rattlebones. Or right after Rattlebones, I guess.
All right, bear with me a moment.
So, am I shooting at him and then jumping off, or am I jumping off and getting some distance?
Get some distance.
You got it.
Because remember, you're going to immobilize him when you hit him.
Yep.
And
All right, so Kenzie, you wanted to go after Rattlebones, and I just want to bring in, you do know that delaying your action in such a way will make that your position and initiative for the rest of the combat, correct?
Guys, is this smart?
I think so, because the other option is to climb up onto the roof.
yeah.
All right,
And
so
I would like to get the fight off of the roof.
all right, so Kenzie's in place then. Kit, you first.
Okay. Very much like Kinsey, actually. I'm going to wait until Rattlebones is on the ground and then shoot him in the face.
All right.
Oh.
Laying action to after Kenzie, I take it?
Yeah.
All right, that means Elliot, you act first.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to pop a piece of glass in my mouth that's been sitting in my fist and jump off the roof, getting as much distance from the roof as I can.
All right, so you're going to take a run and jump off the roof.
And activate Primal Glory. No dice, just costing 2 glamour.
All right. You still have the fall to contend with. So let's see if Kenzie catches you as per what they were attempting to do. So Kenzie, catching your falling teammate will be a strength plus athletics check. Considering the nature of this, it'll be at a -2 penalty.
Could I assist them by moving into a good position with Dex plus Athletics?
I'm not allowing you to assist on this.
Considering I have fighting finesse, can I use my dexterity for that strength?
Sure.
Judo.
With willpower. 3 successes.
Alrighty.
And I believe because I'm using stealth in a low light area, that becomes the 3 out of 3. Except no, I'm not using stealth.
Yeah.
Are you not in stealth here anymore?
I am, but I realized that it meant using stealth as in rolling stealth.
Yeah, it's for stealth rolls specifically.
All right, so just 3 successes then. All right. So Kinsey manages to catch Elliot as he's falling. Considering that jumping off a roof into someone's arms is still not a pleasant experience, take 1 point of bashing damage, please.
You got it. Well, I'm getting myself all fucked up today. Hoorah!
Alrighty. That means the next turn in order is Rattlebones here. All right, bear with me just a moment. I'm looking over his character sheet since it's been a while since you've been in contact with him.
It's good to see the old man again. It's been a while!
Yeah, I don't think we've actually engaged with him since like the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah, I think that was like 2 times at the
Episode 1.
beginning. Once on the first hunt night and once when we were leaving. When he lost that ugly little eye of his.
Yep.
Hey, how much is a minus? How much of a minus do you think the heart is?
All right.
I think that'd look pretty good in gold. What do you think? I'm not telling you how to do your job, of course.
Rattlebones leaps off the roof above you. The cloak at his back, he grabs in one hand and swirls around him, disappearing. You hear a nearby thump on the ground, but you can't place where it came from.
Excellent.
Why is that excellent?
Kinsey?
No one else is around me, right? Because you ran away and Tibbs is still in the warehouse.
I wasn't able to run away. You caught me.
Yes.
I'm literally right next to you.
I'd like to activate Fey Cunning.
Alrighty.
That's reflexive, so you still get an action if you like.
That's true. So is there anything else you want to do this turn?
Guys, how dumb is it to challenge him to a duel?
I mean, we're already fighting him. You'd be revealing your position, but you could then move.
Okay, I would like to get out of paying the glamour by challenging him to an immediate duel.
In other words, fight me. You are muted.
I throw
Oh.
a glove in his general direction.
All right, so you cast Fey Cunning, and what were you doing by challenging them to a duel?
It's the loophole. So they don't have to pay the glamour.
So you've cast Fey Cunning and challenged Rattlebones to a duel. That is your action for the round, nothing else?
I pull out my sword and hold it in my hand that has my 6-shooter knuckles on it.
All right. Let's see. So you've kept your defense in that case. All right. Hit.
Okay.
Your turn.
So,
Knowing
quick
that-
question. Before we go any further, is there blood on any of the glass spikes that are surrounding me?
No.
So he managed to get out further than that from the jump.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I can't help you any better than that.
Alrighty. In that case, I am, knowing that Kinsey has challenged him to a duel, I'm going to take the aim action.
Near where Kinsey is, I assume.
Yes, sir.
And just for my own accounting purposes, since I had narrated Rattlebones casting Elemental Weapon in the first round of this, I'm going to go ahead and roll it so I can see what he's doing with it.
Absolutely. What a delightfully shit roll you made there, Rattlebones. Glad to see it.
Word.
Alrighty. So, that said, Kit takes the aim action and ends his turn.
I'm also going to activate, just to be on the safe side, going to activate the Fake Cunning as well. But I'm not going to use the catch.
So you're just gonna pay for it.
Yep. And because of my mantle, it's going to be 1 glamour instead of 2.
All right. So, next up then, Elliot, back around to you.
Well, the problem we seem to have is that we don't know where this guy is. And I'm not going to be any better at shooting him than you guys are if you don't know where he is. I can only have one target up for Relentless Pursuit at a time, but I have decided we're giving up on that +5. I relentlessly pursue Rattlebones. Clash of Wills time. I assume he's hiding his position, or is he just visually hidden?
I'm not going to tell you at the moment.
It's a question of if I'm rolling the dice or if we're doing a Clash of Wills instead.
Oh, yeah. That would be the case. That would be a Clash of Wills, then.
All right. All right. So, with Relentless Pursuit, that's 2 glamour, and okay. And yeah, so Clash of Wills. How does that work again?
Let's see. Each player involved rolls his character's weird plus an appropriate finesse attribute. Whoever gets the most wins, and his power takes effect as normal while the conflicting effects fail.
I'm going to say wits because I am trying to outwit his ability to hide.
All right.
And low power. Come on. Come on. Work, damn you. 3 successes beats 1.
For a second, I thought that the last one was mine, but you're correct. Your relentless pursuit detects him. He appears to be standing about 30 feet to your right, near the edge of the warehouse.
My arrow is tracking him now at all times. The point of my arrow is now directed at him, and I'm giving an approximate distance in a sense allowed whenever I can. He is fully aware that I'm doing this because he had a Clash of Wills with me. Not so clever without your tricks, eh?
Okay. So.
He also doesn't know if my friend... Well, he knows that Kenzie is here, but he doesn't know where anybody is, I don't think.
You hear a thump. You're exposed, though, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I am so obvious. I am incredibly obvious. Please try and hurt me.
Alrighty.
Make this worth it.
You hear a thump on the roof. And a couple of things happen at once.
My least favorite thing to hear from the GM.
First off, you see Rattlebones reappear on the roof. The wooden sword he had drawn to attack you, having shifted into what looks like a crude wooden spear. He tosses it at you. What is your defense? Because you do get defense against a thrown weapon.
I have a defense of 4 because I've got my armor on. Let me check real quick. I think Primal Glory only... Yeah.
Okay, so before your armor, that would be 5 lethal damage.
Okay. I I just need to check one thing real quick before I give you the answer on that one. Primal Glory gives me an additional armor rating of 1/1 on top of my stuff. So that is 4/6. So I believe this is mundane damage, not firearms, so that's -4. So 1 damage?
Yep.
Alright. I believe that means that since I have a bashing, I move the bashing down a column and fill the first one with the lethal. I think that's how that works. Anyways. Hey guys!
All right, it's now Kenzie's turn. Rattlebones has reappeared, dropping his light shy contract.
And he's up on the roof.
Yep. There's a ladder up there that is plainly accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I run up the ladder. And I'm going to use my 6-shooter knuckles on him from behind.
Alrighty. Go ahead and roll your attack. Since that is a melee attack, he gets his defense, which is 3.
So -3 to your roll.
Four successes.
That's a lot.
And I believe your gun punch does extra damage because of it, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
can you remind us all how that works?
It's a punch gun. It's an old pair of brass knuckles just beginning to tarnish.
Damage rating increases to 2 if you've activated it. And you said you did.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got 4 successes, and the damage rating of the knuckles is 2?
Yes.
And he's leaning over the edge of the roof.
So that means he takes 2 lethal damage. All right. And Kit, your turn.
Okay. I have an idea. Give me just 1 second to look it up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I need to pull
By the way,
up
it is
Kit.
8:59, everyone.
We'll be wrapping up soon. Sorry that we're going a little over.
Hey, Kinsey. Would some additional speed be useful for you?
Probably.
Okay. So, I activate my Kith ability, instantaneous velocity, to triple my speed. Then I use the level 5 autumn mantle, spend 2 glamour, and give that to Kinsey.
Damn.
So triple your speed, Kenzie.
Okay.
And I take the aim action.
All right. Elliot, your turn.
I think that the best thing we can do is deal with the problem we have, and he clearly knows that he wants to be on the roof. So I'm going to shoot him in the face. I'm sorry if he ends up stuck here. But I don't know what else to do.
All right. And does bow and arrow count as firearms, or does he get his defense against that?
I don't think it's fast enough to count as firearms.
Okay, then we'll give him his defense against that. So roll your attack at a -3.
All right. So here's the important thing to note. I am not a combat monster. Everyone else is. So try not to be disappointed by these numbers. Spending a willpower. 1 success.
That comes out to 0 damage.
That's fine.
Since you didn't do
So that's 4 damage that he was able to ignore?
Yeah, he's got an armor rating of 4.
Okay. So I didn't manage to bind him?
Unfortunately not.
Well, shit.
Elliot shoots one of the arrows from his edge bramble bow. Rattlebones summons a spear back to him and parries it. Noticing that he's been hit in the back by an invisible opponent and under attack by Elliot, he briefly looks back at the pane of glass on the roof, runs towards it, touches it, and dives through it.
I take it we're no longer in combat then?
Yep, he appears to have initiated the mirror walk contract and ran.
All right, I go up and I kick the mirror.
The pane of glass shatters.
Well, we seem to have taken care of this particular problem for tonight. He's going to have trouble getting the huntsman back out here, knowing that he's trying to execute him. And I doubt Rattlebones likes the answer he's received.
Yeah. We still need to get Sister Mary, though.
So while you didn't manage to rescue Sister Mary today, you did manage a major sabotage effort. Congratulations. We're going to end the session here then. Let's go around the table and do our aspirations. Who wants to go first?
I will. Alright, so I believe I took a step towards kicking the cotton out of him.
Yeah.
I step and clear to find my fetch.
Yep.
I took a step towards bringing in army.
Yep.
I did nothing to make Sister Mary regret everything. But I did get a hit on Rattlebones.
You did.
That's me.
I did violence unto my fellow man.
Yep.
I showed leadership by organizing my people and getting God, what's her name? Miss Cotton not Miss Cotton, Kelly Crinoline, to agree to a different choice in order to get us some advantages.
Yep.
Passed the exam for a bar. I am setting myself up to have an excuse to move a lot of funds around that I can probably sneak my hand into, because I just made a deal for finances from the freehold that they are going to be willing to accept. I can probably use that to my advantage along the way.
I can agree.
Restore the rest of Mimsatch. I made a valiant effort to pull a piece off of Rattlebones this evening, and I like to think that at least trying this hard should get me a point.
I can't give you that one, unfortunately.
pick out the cotton. I have just sabotaged one of his major efforts to keep his ass alive. How's that?
I agree. Yep.
All right, so that's 4.
Okay. So we successfully stopped one of Rattlebone's plots here. Can I step in clear, stop the rattling?
I'll agree with that.
Okay. Then definitely put a wrench in Cotton and Rupert's plans here. Can I take a beat on Eat the Rich?
Sure.
Okay. And I now have a solution for the Huntsman. I just need to acquire it. Can I step in clear, find a solution for the Huntsman?
Yeah, that's makes sense to me.
By the way, the thing I did on my phone was I registered as clergy in the Universal Life Church. I was going to bring that up if he shot me.
All right. So we've got. Oh, still have more?
Yeah. The 2 more that I have are Feed the People. I gave Kelly something to think about, so I feel that I have fed her soul a little bit.
You also agreed to literally feed a bunch of homeless people.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Goblin.
And the goblin you literally fed.
Yeah. And
So-
sorry, the last one is lean on the scales. By informing the huntsman of the plot against him, I definitely think we leaned the scales in our favor a little bit here. Yeah?
I agree, yes.
Okay. Then that's me.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out to watch us. Sorry we went over by a little bit. Just another reminder, if you're interested in the Christmas in July sales for Onyx Path products, the links are here in chat. Well, thanks again for coming out to watch us. We really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a good night.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.